Hello and welcome to today's session. So today we are going to be focusing on lymph drainage, which is really supportive, particularly in these hotter months, where we can get a little bit of puffiness and slowing of the lymphatic flow. So we're going to start in standing. Have to hand strap, that would be really good. And because we're going to be doing a little bit of work and balance work in standing, you might want, I've brought a chair with me to the session so that you can stand sideways onto a chair or holding on with both hands to a chair, whatever you might need to be safe. All right. So remembering that everything we do is pain and strain free, listening into the body, noticing what's happening with the breath. So we want that to be nice and rhythmic and steady. If you notice you're holding your breath or your breath feels erratic, maybe you're pushing a little bit hard. So just listening in. Okay, so let's just start by marching a little bit on the spot. Maybe just allowing the arms to sway gently. Feeling the knees moving forwards and up and the ankles are free. Just having a notice of that. So just thinking knees forwards and up. And as we get the body a little bit warmer, then that's going to support the flow of lymphatic fluid. It likes the body to be warm, but not overly hot. So that's why sometimes it can get challenging with these heat waves we've been having. And then let's move sideways along your mat all the way to one edge and then coming back the way you come to the other side. And as you feel able, those knees might want to come higher and higher, but again, not straining the body to, as we start off, we were warming up. Really nice. Coming back to center. And then we're going to bring one knee up and just tap with the opposite hand. But trying to keep your knees moving forwards and up. So we're not taking the knees side to side, we're keeping the knees forward, and it's the upper body that's doing that little gentle twist. Good. Feeling the heart and lungs start to engage. So we're supporting our cardiovascular system, the heart system. Good. And then settling off, going back to a little march. My mat is very naughty when I do any marching. It ruffles up. Good. And then settling in. And then we're going to just come into some shoulder rolls. And with our shoulder rolls, you might want to do some little knee bends. So our feet are hip width apart, just checking that we're tracking the knees over the big toe and second toe. But we're not necessarily doing deep bends to begin with. We're just waking up those quadricep muscles, the front of the thighs, shoulder rolls, waking up the shoulders. So we have a lot of lymph nodes around the collarbones. So working into the shoulders and the chest is really helpful for that flow of lymphatic fluid. So almost kind of like waterfalls over the collarbones. Let's roll the shoulders backwards now. And if bending the knees feels a bit much today, then of course just doing the shoulder rolls. That's absolutely fine. Good. Coming back to stand. So just standing, keeping our feet hip width apart, little softness in the knees, just taking your head from side gently to side. So just going slowly with this, stretching through the neck. And again, this is helping that flow of lymphatic fluid through the neck area. Good. Coming back to the center. And then we're going to do right ear to right shoulder, back to the center, left ear to left shoulder. And being clear that we're not lifting the shoulders up to meet the ears. It's the ears drawing down to come towards the shoulder. Just gently going from side to side in your own time. And if you want to increase the stretch, reach your fingertips down towards the floor. Good. Back to center. Very nice. So from here, shoulders back and down, we're going to imagine we're going to almost like doing a butterfly stroke with our arms. So our arms are going to come up and over, so you can have the elbows bent, and then they're coming forwards, and then we can round the spine gently forwards, and then we're going to draw back. So we're at shoulder height with the arms, and then we're going to round forward. So this is really helping the lymphatic fluid flow over. Can you imagine it almost creating that waterfall effect over the clavicles, over the collarbones, and then stretching through the front? Yeah. So if you have any osteoporosis or spinal, anything that would mean that your spine is not stable, then don't overly arch the back. Keep the back nice and straight as you do it. Just working into what's right for you. And if it feels difficult to do both arms, you could be doing one arm at a time. So just finding your level for the day. And it can be different every day as well. Good. Good. And then releasing down, just flicking the hands away. Flick, flick, flick. Imagine you've got water on your fingertips. Flick away. Very nice. Good. So let's come down now. We're coming down to the pelvis. We've got loads of lymph nodes in the belly area, so it's really good to work into here. So we're going to just keep the knees soft and circle the hips. And these circles could be super small. Just feel your way. Really remembering that our time on our mat is our time to just really drop into that sense of feeling, awareness, of listening to the body, listening to emotions that might be coming up. Dropping into that felt sense of movement in the body. Good. And then circling the hips the other way. Very nice. And then coming back to center. Let's do some stretching through the side body. So either having the arms reaching up above the head. You can't totally see my arms, but my fingers are reaching up towards the ceiling. We're going to do some side bending. If that feels like a lot, you might want to bend the elbows and cup your elbows. So see what's right for you. We're going to inhale. We're going to really get some lovely length through the spine, but we're going to draw the shoulders down. So we've got space between the earlobe and the shoulder. And then we're going to gently side bend to one side. And then we're going to come back to the center. And then we're going to side bend the other way. I want you to imagine coming back to center, you're between two panes of glass, okay? So you can't go forwards, you can't go backwards. You're just moving purely to the side. So we're stretching under the armpits. We've got the lymph nodes in the armpit areas. So we're stretching through here. And the lymphatic system has cleverly located itself, the lymph nodes, around our joints. So every time we are moving, we are supporting that flow of lymphatic fluid because it doesn't have its own pump. So it needs us to move. It needs us to take nice deep breaths. Good. And then bring the arms around in a lovely sun circle. Good. And again, we straight out. Very nice. So let's get our chair or something to hold on to as we move into some more balance like work. Okay, so I'm going to stand sideways onto my chair, but feel free to stand facing your chair if it feels like both hands holding is going to be better for you. Okay, and so then what from here, I want you to really think about what we were working last week on our core. I want you to start from that lovely strong core. We're going to bring our weight into the right leg, okay, and just notice, I do it straight away, I can see on my screen that I'm going to fall into my right hip. I want you to keep that right hip nice and straight, strong, okay, and then we're going to lift up that left leg. Okay, so it's at 90 degrees at the hip and the knee, engaging your core, so gently lifting the pelvic floor, belly button back towards the spine. And here we're going to circle the ankle on that left side in one direction. And the other direction. Good, and then releasing and changing sides. So grounding down through your left foot now. Left hip tucks in, is lovely and strong. But when we tuck the hip in, just check that you don't go into a lovely knee lock. So just keep the knee a little bit bent as well. So you're trying to use muscle strength rather than hanging on joints. Okay, and then the right knee comes up. Maybe you've got your hands on the chair. Maybe you're using your piano fingers so that your fingers are just resting there for kind of reassurance rather than like strong holding. Just see what's right for you. Engage your core, circle the ankle one way. And the other way. We're working balance, we're supporting lymphatic flow, we're really getting into the ankle mobility, and then release off, kick out with both legs. We're going to do the same again. So we're going to really start building some lovely strength as well in the quads. So grounding through your right foot, tuck your hip in, left knee comes up. And from here, as long as you're okay in the knee joint, if you have problems with your knees, then just practice some standing. You might want to do some more, you could do some ankle pumps here or ankle circles. But if your knee is okay, then maybe doing some circles here. So we've got a lot of lymph nodes in the back of the knee. So this is a really good one for getting into those ones there. And sometimes we can get quite puffy through the back of the knee joint. So this is a really good one for releasing and supporting the flow through that zone. Okay, and then the other way. Good, releasing it off, changing sides, just giving yourself a little pat through that leg. It feels like it's working hard. Good, grounding down through the left, right leg comes up, left hip is nice and strong, core engaged, and then if it's okay for you, circling the lower leg. So it's like from the knee joint rather than from the hip. Use your support if you need to, that's really okay. And then the other way, getting that lymph fluid moving through the back of the knee. Keep breathing, make sure when things are challenging that we don't hold our breath, and then release it off. Let's kick those legs out. Really, really nice work, everybody. Shake the whole body out. Shake, 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 shake. Need to get the music. Always feel free to put your music on because I don't use music, so you can always have your own choice of tunes. Really nice. Okay, so now we're going to come into the calf muscle. So remembering the calf muscle is our second, known as our second heart. It's really, really important for lymphatic flow. So this is something you could bring in maybe 10 heel raises when you're maybe at the sink, maybe at the worktop, you know, something that you could be doing where you're obviously keeping yourself safe, but getting those calf muscles pumping. So holding on to something if you need to. We're going to come up on the balls of the feet and then lower down with control. Coming up, I think that spine nice and long. And I want you to really come down with control. Imagining that in your spine you've got that a lift with lots of people stood in it, and we want them to have a lovely journey up and down. Maybe inhale to rise, exhale to lower. And that's when we can use the core. So we inhale, the core can be soft. Exhale, engage the core to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Good. Let's just do 2 more and then we'll stop with that. Good. And then from here, just a little bounces on the heels. So I'll show you sideways on. I'm just coming up a little bit, tiny bit. And again, that's just going to support that flow of lymph fluid. But it's also putting some nice pressure through the joints. So that's helping with bone density and strengthening of the bones. Good. And then release. Little shake out. Good. Let's put the, if you're using the chair, we can put it to the side. And we're going to come down now into lying, and we're going to work in lying now to continue with our lymphatic work in lying. Grab some water if you need. Getting yourself something under your head. Down to lying. Make sure you guys can see me all right. My children have been using all my props. They're all over the place. Sorry about that. Okay, so having your strap to hand could be really helpful here. Always coming down through side lines, so you're not going to put too much strain through the front of your body. So come down through side lying. Very nice. Okay, so let's bring the legs together to connect in the midline, feet flat on the floor. We're going to work through the lymph nodes in the armpits and the groin now by bringing our fingertips behind our ears, elbows to touch in front. And we're going to inhale to take the knees to the side, the elbows to the side. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. And if you are super flexible, just checking that you're not just allowing the legs to flop out to the side. I want you to keep control of the legs, control of the arms. So we're building stability rather than over laxity, if that makes sense. Good. And then the next time, the knees and the elbows connect. Let's release the arms down by your sides. And we're going to come into a little bit of pedaling with the legs. So we're just going to bring your right leg and pedal it now. So when we're pedaling the leg, we want to have the the pelvis in the neutral position. Okay, so you've got a little curve in the lower back. You're not allowing the spine to overly round or flattened into the floor. And then let's go the other way. Good. And then releasing that foot to the floor. And then we'll change sides. The left leg pedals forwards now. And something that's really good for lymphatic drainage, and it's not something that I've done within the class because I should give you a forewarning to bring this piece of equipment, is having a tennis ball and rolling it underneath the foot. So maybe when you're sitting down, if you're at a table, let's reverse the pedal now. Yeah, sitting on a kitchen style chair, a dining style chair, and having a little tennis ball under your foot and just rolling it around under your foot. If you do it very lightly, you can really support the flow of lymphatic fluid because it's quite superficial. And then getting in deeper is going to support, the mobility of the foot, which is really important. And then bringing that foot down. Good. From here, let's just come into some tilts of the pelvis. So tilting the pelvis forwards and then tilting the pelvis back. Bring the breath down into the belly as you tilt forwards. Inhale, nice deep belly breath. And then exhale to run the spine into the floor. Inhale, tilt forwards. Exhale, tilt back. Good. So this is really important. So we've done so much work with the legs so far, like getting that lymphatic fluid moving from the legs. So now we're clearing all of the fluid from the abdomen back towards the heart for drainage. So tilts are really, really important. If you're doing work with the legs, always bring in the pelvic tilts. Good. Coming back to neutral. I'm gonna spin around so you can see my legs. I'm gonna bring the legs now into a nice V shape. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more work with the legs. So the legs coming from V, and that's our inhale, and then we exhale and we cross the right leg over the left and then bend the knees. Inhale to gently open. Exhale, cross the left over the right, bend the knees. Inhale to open. Exhale, right over left, bend the knees. Inhale to open. Exhale, left over right, bend the knees. Inhale to open. So you can change which leg is uppermost, and then you're doing that lovely scissoring action. That's just really working as a beautiful pump again for the lymphatic system. And just knowing that you don't have to take your legs wide, they could just be a more narrow V shape. So just see what's right for you. Good. And then the next time you finish on the left over the right, we're going to just gently hug your knees in towards your chest. Now, remembering if you have any spinal instability, osteoporosis, then don't overly hug the knees and round the chest. You can keep the spine long, but otherwise just allowing yourself to rock from side to side. And this really gets the lymphatic fluid in the back of the body, squeezing round to the front again, supporting that lovely drainage. It's also an opportunity to give ourselves a hug. So just remembering again, you know, trying not to just go through the motions, taking the time to also really know we're nurturing ourselves, we're connecting in with ourselves. Come back to center, releasing the feet to the floor and wiggling your hips out. So just getting some nice release in the hips. And then I want you to just wiggle the legs. So really getting, I can really see the muscles moving and the fat on my legs. So just getting them, it just all moving away from the bones, almost as if you are, yeah, shaking your muscles off of your bones. I love that feeling. Just really imagining all the fluid within the legs just moving more freely as we do that. Good. Very nice. Let's just do a little bit of bridging, really great for toning of the abdomen and just a little check-in from last session where we really focused on the core and the pelvic floor. So we're going to push through the feet to lift the bottom off the floor, however far is comfortable. And then as we exhale, we are lifting the pelvic floor, gently drawing the belly button back towards the spine as we lower with control. Inhale, the core is soft. Bottom comes towards the ceiling, push through the feet. Have some tone in the buttocks. Exhaling, lowering with control, that lovely pelvic floor lift. Belly button back towards the spine. So just carrying on with your own breath rhythm. Good. So seeing if we can do this movement with our buttocks, our glutes having some nice tone in them. So they're helping, they're working, but they're not overly clenching. See what happens there. And it might be that in doing that, we're not taking the pelvis so high. Just see what's right for you. Good. Last one, push through the feet. Lower with control. And again, just a little wiggle out. Very nice. Let's do some shoulder shrugs. So we're just going to take the shoulders up towards your ears as you inhale, and then as you exhale, draw your fingers down towards your feet. So keeping the backs of the arms connected to the floor, almost like we're kind of standing to attention. Inhale, shrug with shoulders to your ears. Exhale, draw your fingers down the mat. Inhale, shrugging up. Just checking the time. Good. Inhale to draw up. Exhale, draw down. And then coming back to neutral. From here, we're going to just gently roll onto the side. Okay, and we're going to come up into seated. So we're just going to do some work through the arms now. So again, choosing what's comfortable for you. So it might be that you want to sit on a chair, but if we're not sitting on a chair, straddling a bolster is really, really good. Making sure that your hips are higher than your knees. Making sure you're really comfortable. No strain in the knees. We've got a nice little curve in the lower back in sitting. That's very important. Shoulders draw back and down. Good. So we've really worked on clearing from the legs. We've worked from flushing from the trunk. So now it's really good for working into the arms and the hands. Okay, so from here, we're going to lift the arms up above the head. So both arms come above the head. You can have a bend in the arms if lifting the arms is difficult. I want to make sure you can see me. And from here, we're going to close the hands into a gentle fist, then open the hands wide. Yeah, close fist, gentle fist, then open the fingers wide. So just doing that. I'm going to go for 10 times. And 10, and then releasing, big sun circle, big stretch of the hands as you come back down. Really nice. Good. The next time we go up and down, we're going to do this with our wrists. So we're going to, when the arms are straight, we're going to go down and up. Yeah. Yes. Good. So the arms are in the air, and then we're going to do down and up. So you're just stretching through the wrist joint. And as we're doing this, we are pumping the fluid from the hands and the arms back towards the heart. 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. And when you get to the bottom, let's just do some royal waves. So rotational movements. And the other way. Okay, so we're going to work the final direction of the wrist joint. So the wrists go forwards and back, they rotate, but they also go side to side like that. So this time we're going to put the thumb inside the loosely closed fist, and we're going to imagine we're hammering. Let's see different angles. All right. So arms coming above the head, and then we do hammer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Very good. Bringing the arms out now at shoulder height, gently circling in one direction. So imagine you're drawing circles with your fingertips one way, and then the other way. Good. And then release down. Good. Then pushing away to stop sign. And then let the hands come down to the sides. Pushing away as if during a stop sign. So stretching the underside of the arms. And then release down. Pushing away. And down. Pushing out. Very nice. Coming down. Let's do 2 more. Push away. Coming down. Really, really, really nice. Now we're going to bring the fingertips to tap on the shoulders, and then from here, so we're coming into and the elbow flexibility and movement. We're going to open the arms out to the side and then tap. Open to the side and tap. Good. So having control, if you're quite flexible, just making sure that they don't kind of lock out at the elbow, just keeping that control in that joint, not overextending it. Check that your lower ribs are tucked under. They like to fly forward sometimes when we do things like this. Good. 1 more. And then releasing it down. Really nice. Again, flip, 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 flip. Good. Let's do a little one for our neck posture. So we love to work our core. We want to work the core of the neck to keep our neck nice and aligned. And it's one that I use a lot because it's one that really, if we could do it every day, it'd make a big difference to our posture. So tongue to the roof of the mouth, fingertip to the chin. We're going to inhale here. And as you exhale, tuck your chin backwards. So creating length in the back of the neck, but you want to keep your head level. So your chin's not dropping down. It's not going, lifting up, purely moving backwards. Keep breathing and then release and nod it out. Okay, let's go again. Inhale, exhale, tongue to the roof of the mouth, fingertip to the chin, tucking backwards. Hold that contraction, but keep breathing. Noticing where you feel this in the body. I actually feel this down between my shoulder blades. And then release that off, nod it out. Inhale. Exhale, tongue to the roof of the mouth, tuck the chin back. Creating that sense of a double chin. And then releasing it off. Nod it out. Really nice. Let's finish with a lovely heart opening practice. So we're just going to bring our fingertips, all the fingers, to connect in to the sternum, the collarbone, no, breastbone. And here we've got lots of acupressure points. So for the heart meridian, okay, and the heart meridian comes from here, the center of the chest, and then it goes underneath the ribs, out under the armpits, and then along through the little finger. Okay, so this is a really nice stretch for the heart meridian and getting that sense of like opening the heart, but then we're going to be gathering in energy. So it's learning to like give and receive. It's a really nice practice. Okay, so the fingers stay connected in the heart, and then we're going to inhale to open. And then exhale, gently bringing energy back into our heart space. Inhaling, opening. So we often really good at giving, but let's get good at receiving as well. So drawing in, filling our own cups. Good. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale, opening. Exhale, closing. Inhale, opening. Exhale, closing. Good. One more. And then when your hands come back, just layering one hand over the other, resting the arms. Just feeling that connection with your own heart. Maybe feeling it beating under your hands. Taking that moment with yourself. Feeling the effects of our practice today in the body. So from here, let's just come gently down into our relaxation pose. So we're going to be in lying. Making sure you're going to be comfy, getting whatever you need to make sure that you're warm, you're supported. I always like to have a bolster under my legs, but I'm just going to encourage you for the moment not to put the bolster under the legs, but to lie flat on your back with a cushion under your head, if that's comfortable for you. Okay, if this is not a comfortable position for you, then please have something under the knees. That's okay. But if it is comfortable to lie on your back like this, we have the feet hip width apart, the arms are just a little bit away from the sides, palms facing up. And I just want to keep your heels connected to the mat and then bring the feet into a windscreen wiper motion. Okay, this is when windscreen wipers used to go like this, forward one way then the other, both at the same time. I know that modern cars do something else. So old-fashioned windscreen wipers, one way, other way, one way, other way. And doing that through the legs. So we're just rocking the legs. Feeling that rocking motion coming up through the pelvis and maybe a little bit into the spine. Relaxing your upper body. And just feeling that wave of energy through the body now. Good, then coming to stillness And then keeping the heels connected to the floor, can you point your toes away from you and then draw your toes towards your head? You're just going up and down. So now you can imagine maybe that sense of rubbing the back of your head. It goes up and down on your support underneath. So as if we were going to rub our hair off at the back of the head, like a little baby. No neck got all the time. Up and down, up and down. And again, this just really supports the flow of energy through the body, and then releasing and just taking a moment to feel the effects of the practices. And it's easy enough to do so, just popping something now under your knees. So that could be a cushion or a bolster. So the legs are fully supported. And letting go into your relaxation now, which is such an important part of our practice. Letting go of all efforts. Allowing yourself to be fully held, fully supported, knowing that you cannot fall. And then gently bringing your attention to your breath. Feeling your breath moving in and out of your body without changing it in any way. Taking a moment to visualize yourself lying there on your mat and what surrounds you in the space that you're in. And then gently, when you're ready, bringing movement back into the body. But if you have the opportunity to take more rest now, then I absolutely encourage you to do so. But if you do need to get on with the day, then wiggling the fingers and toes, stretching and yawning as you might do after a deep sleep, whatever feels right for you. And when you're ready, rolling onto your most comfortable side and taking a lovely sighing breath in through your nose, sigh out through your mouth. An audible exhale just really helps you to let go of emotion that may be bubbling up to the surface. Letting it go on the exhalation. And when you feel ready, coming up into sitting. And if it's comfortable for you, let's finish our practice by bringing the hands in front of the heart in a prayer position. The head bows to the heart. And really sending yourself genuine gratitude for making the effort to be on your mat, for all the lovely practices to support the flow of your lymphatic fluid today. And just for honouring some time with yourself. Namaste. Go gently, everybody. Drink plenty of water, and I will see you next week.